Hey guys, I'm Sean. I created FitStudent.co.uk and today we're going to be talking about eating paleo. So if you've done any kind of reading around on kind of fitness websites, bodybuilding blogs and any kind of thing like that, you've most probably come across the word paleo at one point or another. And whether you went away and looked up what that means or just accepted that it was a thing that people do, the point is, it's a good thing to try at least once because it's basically a good way to approach your eating generally. And the basic fundamental idea behind paleo is that we've not really adapted much or evolved much since the time of cavemen, when we'd be running around hunting things, grabbing whatever we could find and just eating those things. So essentially, that means cutting out any kind of thing that's man-made or essentially anything that's developed since we started farming and agriculture, and then obviously all these mass-produced things recently. So that means eating all kinds of things like meats, fish, poultry, eggs, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits, anything that's usually termed natural and organic and fresh, and cutting out obviously the things like cakes, chocolate, dairy, bread, things that are all man-made, especially dairy, because a lot of us are actually lactose intolerant but don't even realize it because we've always drank milk. But as a species, we're not really designed to do that. Like, once you stop breastfeeding, then that's it, no more milk. That's not the way it's supposed to be. Now, some of us it's okay, but for the majority of people, you do kind of get inflammations from lactose and especially wheat and grains and things, because they have something called lectins, which have also been adapted by the grains to stop us eating them. So we're not really supposed to eat those things, but if you don't stop eating them, you'll always have the intolerance and not know if you're actually intolerant to it or not, because it'll never go away. So from that point, paleo reduces those inflammations if you cut out all that new stuff, stick to the basics, and then just eat naturally and whole foods, like real foods. And then from there, you can start reducing inflammations as your body sort of readapts to the way it's supposed to work. And then from there, it's happy sailing. Like it can be difficult to get to that point because often we've filled ourselves with all of these crap foods and all this junk, and your body's had to adapt around that and become okay at processing those things. So once you actually start giving it all the good things and all these nutritionally dense foods, again, it will take a little bit of time for your body to readapt, but once it does, then it becomes much more efficient because that's the way it's supposed to be working. I think the first step generally is just growing up. I mean, you're in uni, if it's your first year, you've been here for like 2-3 months now, and that's still a pretty long time, and that whole time you've been making your own decisions on what to eat and how to train and when to eat and when to train. And it is uni, it's time to go out and enjoy yourself and spend time with your friends and have a laugh and most probably get wasted most nights, but you don't have to sacrifice your health and your physique in order to do that. You can still eat well the whole rest of the time. And obviously we all know alcohol is empty calories because it doesn't really provide anything for your body. It just kind of puts stuff in there that you can't do anything with. But as I say, it's uni. I know we're all going to do it, so get used to it and do what you can around that lifestyle, which involves obviously eating the best you can to compensate for all those other things we do. I mean, you are eating for yourself. You're still buying your own food and cooking your own food, and maybe you're not buying the right foods at the moment, but you still should know really what is good for you and what's not. And that's essentially basically what paleo is, just all the things that are good for you and taking out the things that aren't so good. So it's just it's pretty just sensible eating almost. So from that standpoint, yeah, you just need to grow up with your nutrition a little bit. I mean, I know I did, because like even if you don't like vegetables, because obviously that's going to make up a major part, of your paleo diet. Get over it. Like, honestly, like, I never ate vegetables until I was 18, 19 maybe, just because my mum never made us eat them when I was a kid, and I knew that I was supposed to be eating them as I got older, but because I'd never eaten them, it was hard because my body wasn't used to it, and even like my taste buds and the textures and things I just couldn't deal with it. But eventually I just said, do you know what, I need to eat these things because I know they're good for me, so I'm just gonna man up and get over it. And I'm sure like a lot of you guys out there might need to do that as well. So just man up, start eating your vegetables, start eating real foods, and sooner rather than later you'll see changes, you'll feel the changes, you'll sleep better, your skin will look better, you'll work out better, you'll have better energy through the day. There's just so many benefits because that's the way we're supposed to be, as opposed to all this crap we keep shoveling in, which is just bringing us down. So first step, grow up and start eating good food. I had to, so it's time you did the same. And then from there, you've got sort of two options of how you're going to go about it. You can either go step by step, add in a couple of good things and take out a couple of bad things, as you go along. That's maybe not the best way to go about it, because eventually you might put in a lot of good stuff but then not want to take out too much bad stuff, and then not go any further and get stuck at that point, which might still involve eating lots of dairy at that point, and lots of bread and rice and grains and other things, which, as I said, are the things that cause all the kind of inflammations and problems in the gut and stuff, which is what we need to avoid really. So you can do it step by step, but it's easy to kind of fall off the wagon or not go the whole way. So I'd usually advise you go for the second option, which is just going for a full detox, going full paleo, do a big shop on Sunday, get all the vegetables in, get all the fresh meats, get all the fish, nuts, seeds, everything, and then give away all your other stuff if you've got a lot in. Or maybe to make it easier for yourself to save money between making the change, you're going to be eating that stuff, you would have been eating this crap anyway, so maybe it's not such a bad idea in terms of saving your student loan and things to get through all the crap and then don't buy any more crap. Just start buying good stuff, and then once all the crap's gone, just buy good stuff. Buy vegetables, buy all kinds of vegetables. Like every time you go, every week, try and buy a new vegetable and just see if you like it. Cook it in a few different ways. Cook it by boiling it, grilling it, steaming it, whatever. Like, just try and see what you can do. See if you can find a way to make every vegetable palatable to you, and you'll always be able to find a way. It's just a case of being bothered enough about your health and your physique to be able to do that. So yeah, I'd advise full detox. Get all the crap out of your body, get all the paleo in, reduce those inflammations, get down to that base level so all your functions are running optimally again. You're super efficient, you're feeling better, you're sleeping better, everything is just better, your skin's cleared up and all of that business. And then from there, once you're back to baseline functions, then maybe you can start adding other things back in again. So maybe if you want to test your lactose intolerance, see if that's there, start with cheese because that's got the lowest amount of lactose. Then maybe try some yogurt if the cheese is okay, and then maybe try some milk if the yogurt is okay. And then you'll know if you have the cheese or you have the yogurt or you have the milk, if you start feel really bloated or just don't really feel well generally, then you're lactose intolerant. And the same for wheat, so breads, pasta, all those kinds of things. Maybe try a little bit of those again, and again see if you feel bloated, ill generally, what have you. So that would involve the lectins as well with the rice and stuff. And gluten is a big one as well. A lot of us are intolerant to gluten and don't realise it, but once you take all those bad foods out, then you'll get back to paleo, which shouldn't include gluten. And the best part about paleo is if you do it properly, you eat all the right things. So you eat meats, nuts, seeds, oils, fish, eggs, fish. I said fish. Did I say fish? Fruits. All the natural stuff, except for maybe fruits. No, fruits are good. You just don't need to have quite so much of them because it's all natural sugars, and sugar still isn't the best thing. So, you know, get lots of veg and limit the fruit maybe. That's what I'd go for. But apart from that, as much of it as you want. The thing about eating paleo and eating nutritionally dense food is that because your body can rarely actually use it all and uses it for all like the functions it needs, it's really difficult to put on weight by eating paleo. And you know, normally it's easy to try and get hung up on counting calories and counting macros and proteins, carbs and fats and things to try and lose weight or change your body composition. But if your main goal is to just kind of lean out and tone up and things like that, just eat paleo and eat as much of it as you want. Like, it's unreal. Like, I haven't counted the calorie for months, and I used to do it religiously. But then I started eating better, started eating paleo, and I've managed to get to around 9% body fat now, which I was pretty pleased about because I'd always wanted to get below 10. And then one day I got my body fat tested and I found that I was 9%, and I was like, I just didn't know what to do, you know, like all I've been doing was eating paleo but still eating a lot of food because I could. Like, that's just the way it works. And you won't be, the problem usually with putting on weight is because you overeat, but that's really difficult because of just how good the stuff is. It's all good food, it's all that your body needs. Doesn't matter how much you eat, you're still going to lose body fat because that's the way your body tends to be. Like, your body generally has like a sort of decent level that it likes to stay around. So, you know, in men it's usually between 10 and 12, and if you tend to go above that, then your body wants to come back down to it. If you go below it, your body wants to come back up to it. So that's a pretty lean look as well, and that's the look you'll get to by eating paleo. And obviously you've got your exercise on the side, but just eat better. It just changes everything. And you know, some people call it a diet, but generally it's just a better approach to eating. Because when you say diet these days, everybody thinks, oh, it's this crazy new system for losing weight and cutting calories and all that business, but it's not. It's just a sensible way to eat, really. But apart from that, you know, obviously it's good for just generally getting your body composition sorted and leaning out. But then if from there, obviously you start getting sport specific, you want to start building muscle, then you will have to start counting calories just because it's essential for those kinds of things. So essentially, to wrap it up, eat paleo, you'll feel better, you'll look better, you'll perform better, you'll save money, because if you start going to the markets like we mentioned in our shopping as a student article, if you haven't read it yet, go read it. I'll put a link to it in the description, and there'll be a link to this article as well. If you've not started shopping in markets yet, start doing it. Find it, go on the internet, find your local market. It's so much cheaper than going to the supermarkets, especially for all these things, for all like fresh meats and fruits and vegetables and fish, nuts and seeds. Shop around, make sure you find the cheapest and best sources. You'll save money, you just win in every aspect essentially. And then from there, you just snowball, you'll look better, you'll start losing your body fat. See it through. Start, you know, if you're going to go for a full detox, just do it, commit to it, do it for say 4 weeks. And the first week might be difficult, but just see it through, you'll feel better. And then let us know how it goes. If you have any questions on it, if you're not quite sure is this food paleo, is this food not paleo, I'm not really too sure, send us a message on Facebook or leave us a comment on the video or send us a tweet. Do whatever you like. You know, if we post a photo on Instagram of say something we've been eating or whatever, just get in touch. We'll obviously send you a message back as soon as we get it and help you out as much as we can. Okay, so give it a try, feel better, let us know how it goes, and we'll see you next week.